You wake up with a plan. Today is the day you finally get your life together. You're going to answer those emails, start that project, learn that skill, organize your space, meal prep, exercise, read that book everyone recommended, and maybe even meditate. You open your laptop with genuine intention. But 3 hours later, you've done none of it. Instead, you've researched 12 different productivity systems, reorganized your task manager twice, and somehow ended up watching a documentary about deep-sea creatures. You tell yourself you're lazy. You tell yourself you lack discipline. But the truth is far more interesting than that. You're not stuck because you're doing nothing. You're stuck because you're trying to do everything. The paradox nobody warned you about here is what makes this so confusing. The feeling of being stuck doesn't come from inactivity. It comes from something psychologists call cognitive load fragmentation. Your brain is not idle. It's actually in a state of hyper-engagement, running dozens of unfinished simulations simultaneously. Think of your mind like a computer with 40 browser tabs open. Each tab represents a different goal, a different version of who you want to become, a different project you've mentally committed to, and every single one of those tabs is consuming processing power. Your system isn't frozen because it's broken. It's frozen because it's overloaded. Most people assume that motivation works like a light switch. You either have it or you don't. But neuroscience shows us something different. Your brain operates on a priority queue system. It needs clarity about what matters most right now. When you tell your brain to focus on everything at once, you're essentially giving it 40 equally urgent commands. The result isn't productivity, it's paralysis. You're not choosing to do nothing. Your brain is protecting itself from the impossible task of doing everything, the illusion of infinite capacity. There's a specific psychological trap that makes this worse. It's called planning fallacy, but the version you're experiencing is more insidious. You genuinely believe that if you just organized your time better, you could fit everything in. You look at your calendar and think, I have 16 waking hours. Surely I can accomplish all of it. But you're calculating based on ideal conditions. You're imagining a version of yourself that doesn't get tired, doesn't need transitions between tasks, doesn't experience decision fatigue, and never encounters unexpected obstacles. Here's the science. Research on ego depletion shows that every decision you make, every task you switch between, every goal you hold in working memory drains a finite cognitive resource. You start the day with a full tank, but by the time you've decided what to wear, what to eat, which tasks to start with, and how to respond to 3 different messages, you've already burned through a significant portion of your mental fuel, and you haven't even started the actual work yet. What you're experiencing isn't weakness. It's the mathematical reality of human cognitive architecture. Your brain can only hold about 4 chunks of information in active working memory at once, but you're asking it to juggle 40 goals, 20 deadlines, and a dozen identity projects simultaneously. The system crashes, not because you're incapable, but because the demand exceeds the hardware's specifications. The hidden cost of optional tiers, where it gets more complicated. You probably think having multiple goals is a strength. You tell yourself you're ambitious, multi-passionate, someone who refuses to limit their potential. And in theory, that sounds inspiring. But psychology reveals a darker truth about optionality. Every open option, every unfinished goal, every potential path you're keeping alive creates what researchers call opportunity cost anxiety. Your brain is constantly running background calculations. It's asking, if I commit to this, am I closing the door on that? If I spend an hour on project A, is project B falling further behind? If I choose this version of myself, am I abandoning that version? These aren't conscious thoughts. They're unconscious computations happening beneath your awareness, and they're exhausting. This is why you can spend an entire day feeling busy while accomplishing nothing. You're not procrastinating in the traditional sense. You're trapped in a recursive loop of meta work. You're working on the system of work instead of doing the actual work. You're optimizing, reorganizing, researching better methods because your brain is desperately trying to find a configuration where everything fits. But here's the problem. That configuration doesn't exist. The myth of the perfect system. Let me tell you what you've been searching for. You've been looking for the perfect productivity system. The one that finally makes sense. The one that allows you to honor all of your goals without sacrificing any of them. You've tried time blocking. You've tried the Pomodoro technique. You've tried getting up at 5 in the morning. You've tried bullet journals and digital apps and color-coded calendar. And each time you discover a new system, you feel a surge of hope. This is it. This is the framework that will finally unlock your potential. You spend hours setting it up. You feel organized. You feel capable. And then, within a week, maybe 2, you're back where you started. The system collapses, and you blame yourself for not having enough discipline to maintain it. But here's what's actually happening. The system isn't failing because you're undisciplined. It's failing because it was never designed to solve your actual problem. Your problem isn't that you need a better organizational method. Your problem is that you're trying to organize the unorganizable. You're trying to create a system that allows you to pursue 15 goals with the time and energy required for 3. What your brain is actually trying to tell you when you freeze. When you scroll instead of start, when you suddenly feel the overwhelming urge to reorganize your entire desk instead of writing that email. Your brain isn't sabotaging you. It's sending you a message. And the message is this: I cannot compute this request. Think about what happens when you sit down to work. You open your task list. You see everything you need to do. And immediately your nervous system activates a stress response. Your brain perceives the length of that list as a threat. Not a physical threat, but a threat to your sense of competence, your sense of control, your identity as someone who follows through. So it does what any intelligent system would do when faced with an impossible task. It redirects you. It offers you smaller, more manageable dopamine hits. Check your email. Scroll through social media. Watch one more video. These aren't distractions. They're emotional regulation strategies. Your brain is trying to protect you from the shame of failing at an impossible standard. The relief you're not allowed to feel. Here's what nobody tells you. The moment you stop trying to do everything is the moment you'll actually start doing something. But you're terrified of that moment because stopping feels like quitting. Choosing one goal feels like betraying all the others. Letting go of a potential version of yourself feels like failure. Society has taught you that. Successful people are the ones who do it all. They have thriving careers and perfect relationships and creative hobbies and fitness routines and side projects. They read 50 books a year and wake up early and meal prep and maintain spotless homes. But what you're seeing is a highlight reel. You're seeing the end result of focus, not the beginning. You're seeing people who have already made the cuts you're afraid to make. The people you admire didn't get there by doing everything. They got there by doing one thing, or maybe 3 things, with relentless consistency. And they did it by ruthlessly saying no to everything else. Not forever. Just for now. Just long enough to build momentum in a single direction. The algorithm your brain needs. Your brain is waiting for a command it can execute. And that command cannot be do everything. It needs to be do this one thing next. Not this one thing forever. Not this one thing perfectly. Just this one thing next. Here's the shift. Stop managing your goals. Start managing your attention. Right now, you're treating your attention like an infinite resource that just needs better allocation. But attention is finite, and it's binary. You can only truly attend to one thing at a time. Everything else is either background noise or unfinished business, draining your cognitive resources. This is why the feeling of being stuck is so paralyzing. You're living in a state of continuous, partial attention. You're never fully present with any single task because part of your mind is always tracking all the other tasks you're not doing. You're experiencing the psychological equivalent of having 40 conversations simultaneously. No wonder you can't hear yourself think. the permission you've been waiting for. You don't need a better system. You don't need more discipline. You don't need to wake up earlier or try harder. You need to give yourself permission to be human. And being human means operating within limits. Those limits aren't evidence of weakness. They're the foundation of effectiveness. Every major achievement in history came from someone who chose one problem, one goal, one mission, and pursued it with focused intensity. Not because they didn't have other interests, but because they understood that depth requires the sacrifice of breadth. You've been treating your potential like it's a scarcity. Like if you don't pursue every possible path right now, you'll miss your chance. But potential doesn't have an expiration date. And the irony is this: by trying to actualize all of your potential simultaneously, you're actualizing none of it. What happens when you finally choose? The moment you choose one thing, something remarkable happens. The fog lifts, not entirely, not permanently, but enough. Enough to take one step. And that step creates data. It gives your brain feedback. It breaks the paralysis loop. You're not stuck because you're broken. You're stuck because you're standing at an intersection with 40 roads. And you've convinced yourself that choosing one means abandoning the other 39. But here's the truth. You can't walk down 40 roads at once. You can only walk down one. And the beautiful thing about roads is they intersect. Choosing one now doesn't mean the others disappear. It just means you've finally started moving. The psychology of doing everything at once isn't about ambition. It's about fear. Fear of missing out. Fear of making the wrong choice. Fear of discovering that even when you focus, you might still fail. But staying stuck, frozen in the illusion of infinite potential, that's not safety. That's a different kind of failure. The kind where nothing ever gets tested. Nothing ever gets built. And you never find out what you're actually capable of. You are not lazy. You are overloaded. And the solution isn't addition, it's subtraction. Choose one thing, not forever, just for today, and watch what happens when your brain finally receives a command it can execute.